So we got our forging done. I'm not quenching in water, so I've already added the curve in there. So now we'll do some grinding. This thing feels pretty good. Taper this way, taper this way. It's gonna be nice. Got it. Very tough. So I definitely broke. I quenched it in water to see, make sure it's hardenable steel. Very hardenable. That's pretty coarse right there. That's not what you want. So you get rid of that by normalizing and then the right temperatures for heat treating. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a really killer sword. Alright, took very little off. I have a uniform thickness on my edge. Tip is a little thicker, and that's what I want. I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to normalize a bit, and that takes time. Nice thing about having a long forge. I've done my first normalizing cycle. Here's what's important about this. If everybody wonders, like, why does your blade break? Why do all these problems happen? If you don't normalize, I can almost guarantee that your blade's gonna break. I mean, it's at some point, unless you're just lucky or you have some deft skill given to you at birth, because I've only had a couple of them break. Usually my breakages happen when quenching in water, so I don't quench in water. Somebody has my tongs.
Right over there?
Those are the ones you want. Those are the tongs you're looking for.
Oh.
Yeah. Dun, dun. You know what happens if you try to cut something with a sword this hot? It'll bend. That's right, folks, it will bend. Isn't that pretty? It's a pretty color. It's the color of my truck. So you can watch the decolescence. So the colors are, it's gonna tell me something interesting too about. Ooh, oh, we're getting some recolescence and some decolescence. That's interesting. You see that? Huh, this could be 1084. This could be old school 1084. Based on what I'm seeing, I'm getting a recolescence and decolescence. That could be old school 1084. See how it went cool and went back? It might do it again. We'll get a really good look at it next time. We'll turn the lights off next time, because this is old school 1084. It's pretty killer. The reason I normalize 3 times, I like to think of it as fine-grained, even, and uniform structure in the steel. Shoto. You see my eye through that hole?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back to my laboratory. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to clean this up a bit. Clean this, clean it back, and do some grinding. All right? So this is where the blade stops and starts. There's no ricasso on this piece. We're gonna do Edo wrap. We'll do a Turk's knot. Very non-traditional, but very post-apocalyptic. All right. Cool thing about this block is we can tell we're flat. I got no rocking. I got no weirdness going on. Everything's the same. So I'm gonna, you know, ideally it'd be longer, but it's not. So I'm gonna work with what I have. This is more than likely the cheapest height gauge ever devised. I'm looking for center line. That's it. I'm not trying to be a precision machining operation here. I'm just trying to find relative to center. So if I can get that. All right. Nice. We're center. That's very nice. All right. Same thing with the back. Cool thing about this is a lot of facets on this thing. It's going to be ground kind of everywhere. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Now, do this part. Grind this last. Ideally, I want this to be pretty stout because the point on this will cut, but it'll also be for poking holes and stuff like armor-plated zombies. So I will grind this here first. So this is something I like to see when I'm trying to make very specific bevel on a blade. It's nice to see there's a facet and another facet here. So I think it's cool. Something I like to look at. It's pretty. Keep going. Next, still happy with that. So another thing I want to do is I want to put a fuller. I'm going to leave this for later because the way this is ground is very different. So I'm going to put a fuller, not necessarily a fuller, but say a more shallow area. So the thickest part of the blade will be the center of it. All right. So I'm going to blast this all clean for that. Dun, 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 dun. Anybody know where this is from? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so now, clean this up a little bit. I'm gonna get a sharp belt. Sharp. It's looking good, huh? I feel good about it. I feel like I'm good at something. Okay, now what this is going to do is lighten it significantly. So one of the things that you have an advantage of when you have length, so you have more than 10 inches, you generate velocity. And with velocity, speed cuts through stuff. We'll make it a little lighter, we'll put a fuller in it. So here's a cool thing about the Wilmot. Pretty neat, huh? I'm gonna put on my mask for this. It's gonna get dusty. All right, so that was easy. Okay, it wasn't super easy, but easier than it looks. It looks hard, but it's easy for me. I've only done it like 15,000 times. So, all right, so what I want to do now, before I heat treat, I'm going to clean this fuller up. This is kind of a boring process to watch, but it's necessary. That way I don't have to fight with it too hard, and then I'll go ahead and finish out the tip. The idea, a lot of times when people make these, they make this part too thin, and this part actually needs to be pretty stout. A lot of cutting is done right here with the last 2-3 inches of this thing, you know. So I want to make sure it's stout enough to deal with the velocity, speed. And this is not a traditional Wakizashi. I just want to be a badass Wakizashi. I can grind pretty good, but I can't usually grind good enough to get all those scratches out. So I'm going to make it a little easier on myself. I think I'll go to 120. Did I tell you this was a pain in the butt? Imagine, I've done this for hours and hours and days, literally. All right, now, had to consult with Tristan. Where should this hole be in here? Back there in the back, maybe? All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're going to harden the blade now. You can look at it. Just to remind you what it was though. I think it's possible to turn this into a post-apocalyptic Wakizashi. I think so. All right, fellows, the moment you've been waiting around here for goes. I really need to do some squats if it's that hard to do a squat. My friend did some push-ups. He was doing, Andrew Wozniak, he was doing all these push-ups. He did 10. I was like, okay, so I thought I did 20, but it was only 17. Shows how good I can count. I would do 100 in the morning, and I'd do 100 after lunch. And when I moved here, I got lazy. Z. Ooh, nice. It's a nice color. Put that hot part in there. You leave it open, Charlie. I gotta cool it down. Alright, so what I want to do here, it's got a little warp in it. I got a little bit of time to get that out. Nice. Kept my curve. All right, no cracks. I consider that successful. Very nice. Best way to check hardness, but out of the forge and a spot where I don't have a lot of decarb, I hope, I'm just gonna check it with the file to see. I got a 65 and a 60, so let's see. First I'll check it with the 60. This ain't the best way to check, but it will let me know something, you know. So I'm just gonna clamp it in the vise here. Not touching it. Let's see about the 65. This makes me think this is 1084. I quenched this in AAA. It pretty hard. Not scratching it, so we got hot. So I'm tuning the kiln down to 375 degrees. So I'm gonna do it there first for a while, and then I'll ramp it up a bit. See how high I need to go. Let's see about the back. It's hard. It's hard as it can get. That's good news. I think I'll blast it just so I can see a nice temper color on here. So I'm going to let that run probably 375 for right now, and then I'll temper it again a little higher, because that is pretty hard. If that file won't scratch it, it's harder than 65 Rockwell, which is pretty impressive for a spring, you know. So the research I did on these, some of them were 1084 from a certain time, and then after that they made mostly out of 1060. So 1084 seems like 1084 to me. So next episode, finish, sharpen, wrap, but not in that order. Then we'll finish it, sharpen it, wrap it, maybe in that order. We'll be getting Tristan Knight to assist us with the wrap, since he is becoming very adept at it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, get you one of them cool t-shirts. Black t-shirt with a gold writing. You know what I'm talking about. All right, y'all have a great day. Bye.